All right. Once again,
Добрий ранок.
Dobry ranok, everybody. All right, good.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we're live. So you've already said good morning to all the audience in Ukrainian. You can repeat that again.
If I'm not wrong, would be Dobry ranok.
Добрий ранок. Yeah.
Dobry
So
ranok.
hello, добрий ранок to everyone. It's morning here in the US and everywhere in the East Coast. And welcome back to the Fuel Arts live webinar series where we put the two worlds together, the world of art and tech and venture capital. So today we are to speak about communities. Since the word crypto entered our life several years ago, we hear from everywhere about the power of communities. So we can see the word community as in crypto manifestos, as in white papers, as in news. So a lot of people think that without a good, well-established community around a startup, around an NFT, crypto, whatever startup, it's impossible nowadays to launch a successful business. So in order to get deeper in this rabbit hole, we invited our today's guest, one of the best specialists I ever knew in the world of crypto communities, Rommel de los Ríos, a co-founder of Ecuador Chapter at OffChain Global. So what is OffChain Global? We'll talk about in detail a bit later. But for me, when I first heard about OffChain Global, I understood, this is like quintessentially, but in the crypto world. So if I'm right or wrong, we'll find out quite soon. Also, Rommel is a serial blockchain and crypto and NFT entrepreneur. He already built a DAO using Thirdweb SDK and javascript, which includes front-end contracts for the NFT mint token and voting system, which is very important in terms of community, the voting system, receiving the feedback. And in general, Rommel has an highly advanced knowledge of cryptos, NFTs, DAOs, DEFIs, ENS, Ethereum and Solana Blockchain, and all the Web3 trends. So the second thing we'll be talking about is the difference between, how to call our today's world. Is it digital world? Is it Web3? And what is Web3 regarding to NFTs and metaverses? So hello, Rommel. And of course, with me, my co-host, or maybe I'm a co-host, as we found out recently, of Sonia Stubblebine, the project manager of Fuel Arts. So hello, Sonia. Hello, Rommel.
Hi,
Good morning, guys.
Cool. So let's start, and Sonia's co-host will be responsible for the first question. So, Rommel, with your background in tourism industry, I mentioned quintessentially on purpose. So, what caught your attention in crypto space and made you a Web3 enthusiast?
Guys, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. That intro was amazing. I want to say hi also to Sonia, Dennis, Darius, which is in the backstage, as well as Anna for sharing the space. Thank you very much. Going to your answer, I know that coming from the tourism or travel industry, it's kind of hard to enter in a disruptive environment like it is blockchain, right? But I actually studied software engineer. I quit in half of the career. I had a job opportunity for a bank in Venezuela at that time. And I was so happy and earning like so much, right? For being a student and earning dollars in Venezuela at that time was something amazing. But I think I was young and I didn't think about going back to university, since I thought, okay, so I handle software, I handle hardware. Let us just keep working on this. I started working at hotels when I was 16 years old. Actually, my father was an executive chef for five-star hotels. So we travel a lot, right? I learned French when I was 9 years old and English when I was 15. So my mom said, she was the one who had the idea, why don't you study tourism, right? At the beginning, I thought it was a joke. I laugh. I come from software. Why should I study tourism? I mean, is that even something you study? What are the subject, like how to plan a trip to the beach or something like that? So what I did is I actually started studying business administration, and after that I focused on tourism, on the travel industry. On 2017, I'm gonna make this very fast, right? On 2017, I moved to Buenos Aires because I wanted to switch from that aspect from the travel industry, which is like on top of mine is airplanes, hotels, and vacations. So I moved to Buenos Aires. I got my MBA, and in Buenos Aires, I met this like tech part of the travel industry where everything was OTAs, like online travel agencies, what it was and how they were switching to the e-commerce, but instead of selling products or goods, you are actually selling experiences. So I started focusing on marketing, SEO, e-commerce skills. And I mean, then the COVID hit everything. There were a lot of layoffs on the industry, like Airbnb fired 70% of their staff. Then you have Despegar, which is a unicorn from the travel industry in Buenos Aires. Their stocks got to the floor. So at that time, I was at Tours by Locals, which is an OTA company. And every time I was going into LinkedIn, there was something new that was started popping because industries were like tourism industry was hit hard. But tech companies or software companies, they were just starting to hire, and they were hiring. You say, okay, what's going on with the global economy or panorama that there is an industry that is really growing. So when I gave the first step as a product manager and started like developing all of these things into blockchain, like belonging to communities in Buenos Aires, which is a very advanced country where they're talking about communities and cryptos and blockchain. So I would say that from the last 2 years, I've been focused 100%, and that was the switch I used. I would say COVID was the switch for me to get into Web3.
It seems like COVID changed a lot of lives and a lot of people changed their professions indeed. And like, what was your first Web3 project and how would you describe this experience?
My first Web3 project, like if I'm being honest, is not always a success story, right? We wanted to start with a couple of friends, a project called Pets DAO Latam, which we will basically sell PFPs of dogs and cats. And with that money, we will help street dogs around Latin America. We wanted to start in Venezuela, right? But there, due to some political circumstances, we said, okay, just let us pause. Let's start focusing on the art. So my friend got a freelance job. The other developer said, listen, guys, I don't have enough time for doing this. But if I can say my first successful story would be legendsecuador.com. And regarding the experience, it's a hell of a ride. You know, I co-founded the project with Misael with a small or slash vague idea, right? That he wanted to position the Ecuador on the NFT world. And with my tourism and the PM experience, I think we shaped the whole model to what it is now. So we simplify it for other people, right? Like a tourism membership through NFTs. We can go into details, right, and spend like the whole day talking about communications with the artists, how to find the right people for the team, creating the smart contract, talking back and forth about the different codes or different ways to optimize the contract, so we don't get enough, high gas fees. So yeah, one of the things I could say about this experience is that if you feel that your product is not ready, then it is not ready. Right? Just take your time, focus on everything. There's a saying that says, better done than perfect. It is true, but in blockchain, you cannot change anything, right? That's one of the three pillars. It's immutable. So it's not like you can launch an MVP and then do a Control-Z. No, you have to think like at least have 99% of the project ready. So if you want to change, you could just change the metadata, but not the image, not the product, not the smart contract.
You know, I just realized when you were answering to the previous question that your answers seems to be like mentorship. So you're behaving yourself like a mentor. And in this regards, my next question would be, so as a mentor, as far as I understand, you've launched the Web3 Laboratorio, so the full-sized 360 agency that offers a talent pool ready to convert Web3 ideas into a real business. So what is the audience you are targeting or helping in this project? So are they individuals like artists or startups or entrepreneurs who haven't decided what they want to build, a real business, a startup, or let's say an artistic career?
Yeah, thanks a lot for those kind words. I think mentorship is the new coaching or the new consultant profile. You know, I like mentorship because it's just like going into a phone call or a video call and just talking about a project and how your experience could help. You're not charging anything. You're not taking time. You're not thinking about, okay, so can I get shares of your product or can I get a percentage of it? It's just about talking about your product. And every time you hear yourself, you say, okay, so these are good things that I could change, that I could modify. El Web3, it's actually in Spanish, right? Web3 Laboratorio.io is actually still drafting. It's a complex project since I want to make it like completely decentralized since the beginning. Like right now, it's just me and two friends, one artist and one developer. So what we're doing is, as everybody started, we're approaching brands with young communities in order to onboard them into Web3. Cool thing about this approach is that we go from back to front. Let me explain. It's like we normally got onboarded from the digital to the physical, right? But the best way to approach these kind of baby boomers, which is actually our baby boomers would be the Centennials and Generation C's, is like linking their existing product with NFT instead of doing the other way around as we kind of all started, right? So one artists have been always has always existed, but to them NFTs are just another way of selling their art or reaching another target, right? But for people that are not artists nor collectors, the best way to introduce this technology is through real life utility, which is where the concept of phygital comes in, right? So best example is Legends Ecuador, where we introduced two major brands to the Web3. And with El Laboratorio, who's actually currently in 8 conversations, but they're all like pilots. So we go to the testnet, we create their project, and they start running it. I don't trying Trust Wallet, trying MetaMask, trying how to sell the process. So that's what basically we're doing. We gave the idea, we shape it, we developed, and if all's good, then we launch it.
Sounds great. And I want to ask you more about Legends Ecuador that you mentioned already today a couple of times. Could you tell us more about this project in more details?
Definitely. Legends Ecuador is like our son. Well, Legends is an NFT project inspired by the Galapagos turtle. We created this 3D art with different assets to promote the Ecuadorian heritage and culture. Like, for example, you'll see the turtle with the Panama hat, which is el sombrero de paja de toquillo, national, like international known as a Panama hat. We have coffee bags. We have the national soccer jersey. We also have the ayahuasca, for example, and so on other assets that actually promotes the culture. On Legends, we have 3 objectives that we would like to call the meta message, right? So these 3 things that we wake up and we repeat this every day. First one is we want to promote sustainable tourism. The second is we want to help preserve the environment. And last, of course, but not least would be the most important, which is support the local economy. And how are we going to support this local economy? Is we consider it's very simple. First, we're donating 20% of the profit to 2 different NGOs. We've already identified the first one, which is called the Emma Darwin Foundation. And what they do is through education, they empower young women to take an active role in the economic and commercial activities inside, of course, of the island. Another thing, for example, with the local economy is that we're giving away 5 all-inclusive trips. Just let me know if I'm ahead of any question. Continue. All right. So 5 inclusive trips. This experience is 100% designed to support the locals, but locals for real. So you stay at a comfortable family house, of course, with all of the commodities you need. You'll have a breakfast and dinner with them, as well as using local resources instead of the big corporations like hotels and tour companies, right? As I come from the travel industry and I did this MBA, which I could kind of see more the forest than the tree. We saw that 75% of the budget, of your travel budget, actually goes to big corporations. And that's the thing. I don't want to get into conspiracy messages or stuff like that, right? But that's real data. That's actual data. So flight tickets and hotels takes almost 60% of your budget, while 15 goes for the intermediary, right? Like Despegar or Booking or whatever intermediary you used. And barely 10 to 5% goes into the craftsmen and the locals, right? So that's why we're going to support the real local economy and not the big fancy hotels. We love them. We have some collaborations with them, but we want legend holders to have a unique experience as a local, but with all the comfort that you can enjoy in your holidays, of course.
Cool. Rommel, as a confirmation of let's say your active work in creating the local community, we can see the chat now and more than 20 comments. So as long as you've appeared in our live broadcast, so a newborn community has already appeared around our conversation in our chat. So more than 20 comments, and among them, greeting from Palmyra, Colombia. Thanks for the invitation. Congrats, Rom. Greetings from Ecuador, as always, attending at your broadcast. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure if David means your broadcast or Fuel Arts broadcast, but anyway, that's cool. Ayahuasca gives you wings. Haha.
Gives you wings. It's true. It's called like the fourth dimension. I haven't tried, right? But if I get that turtle with the ayahuasca, we're offering those people, they're just 15 editions, a trip to a community called Santo Domingo de los Áchilas here in Ecuador, where they will be able to perform the spiritual ritual with a real shaman when they're going to offer you the ayahuasca. If I get one, I'll send you some pictures.
And very smart, in my opinion, observation from Glenn. NFT real tangible utility on the tourism sector can be the evolution of loyalty programs.
Indeed.
Good. So as soon as we've started getting closer and closer to the let's say to what the community matters, so we've started our conversation with the statement that the community is very important in the crypto and NFT space in particular. So what's your perspective on that?
Like community in crypto in the NFT space overall?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, community in creating a successful NFT and crypto. I mean, regardless the physical market. Let's just focus our conversation on not on physical and not on digital, but digital market.
Yeah. So that's an interesting topic. I consider myself kind of a community builder, right? What I actually dedicate a lot of time is to grow, but also to strengthen the Web3 community, because we can grow, but if there's a point where you can control or at least keep the flow to the subject from a community, then you're wasting your time. It's not scalable. So it's also important to say that having a community doesn't guarantee your collection or your community sold out, right? We've seen numerous collections with 3,000 or 5,000 members in their Discord server, and they're still struggling to get the 50% of their sales of their NFT collection, of their one-on-one art, right? Even 20% of sales. So what it does guarantee in Web3, as a product manager, I would say that is your product validation. Is my idea worth? So if you develop your project in public, which by the way is a hashtag, a public hashtag. We call it hashtag building in public. You will find a lot of people that's actually building in public. You will have a chance to attract the right people to your project. And therefore, I mean, you will validate your idea before spending time and, of course, money on it. So a good example for this could be a DAO, right? A decentralized autonomous organization where you have big communities, but then not everybody uses their vote power. Or if they earn tokens through the kind of doing good actions like teach to earn or play to earn, then they actually don't even claim all of the tokens or all of their coins to use their power or their vote module. So, I mean, to wrap up this question, I think this is when just get recorded, right, on time. But I think communities are overrated, but they are needed for validation and support. And at least in the NFT and crypto space, I mean, the Ethereum developers community would be nothing without their members, right? Their Bitcoin community would be nothing without their developer members. But when you talk about overall communities, they are overrated for thinking that a product will actually be a success, but they are 100% needed to validate your idea and to growth as an engagement or an awareness brand.
So, Sonia, sorry, one additional question to you, Rommel. So you mean that, and I fully agree with it, that the validation process requires, let's say, the quality. If you want to validate, it means that some assets, some particular asset should prove its quality. But in your opinion, the quality of a digital asset, what is it based on?
Quality is completely subjective, right? There's always this example of the car. If you have an ugly car by the outside, but you have all of the comfort on the inside, is that a quality car or not? So I think quality has a lot of perspective, and when you're an artist, it's 100% on you, right? I think my art is cool because I use orange, but then you've got people in your community that actually hate orange. So I would say that it's definitely a good idea to validate your idea, to validate your project. But if you feel it in your guts that you have to keep the orange color, then that's your quality and that's your special touch. It's not about pleasing everybody. It's about your project validating the solution or the problem, and launching it. Yep.
I love this phrase, special touch. So I would encourage everyone to keep that in mind, like a slogan for the success of their either startup or artistic career.
Indeed, yeah. It's like your flow. It's you gotta keep your flow. If not, we're just another people in the market or another content creator. You gotta just keep your flow.
That sounds great. I loved what you said about why community is important, but can you share with us how to build a community around your project or in general, like in the Web3?
As I mentioned before, it's kind of a full-time job, right? You gotta find the right people. You gotta when you go into more technical things, well, you gotta use your hashtags and look who's using those hashtags and look who's posting from Las Islas Galapagos, by the way, or I mean, as an example, or who's interested in going to Las Islas Galapagos. For example, in our case, I use the report for bookings.com, I think, where Galapagos Island was in the top 20 of Latin America most searched countries or destination to go and visit. So that would be kind of a validation. It wasn't exactly a community, it was a report. But when you start creating the community and you move them to Discord, then you start like doing activities. It's actually a full-time job, and you have to create content. And hey, do you know that in Galapagos there are 3 out of 10 special rare turtle? And there's something I love about creating community or building it in OffChain is that I get to know a lot of people, you know. So I love being a bridge. So every time I say, hey, they ask me, Rommel, do you know an artist that can do a 3D thing? I say, yes, of course. So I just send them the numbers, reach them out, try to see if you can build, if you can launch anything. I would say that's the thing that consumes like 50% would be connecting people, and the other 15 would be like creating, looking for trends, searching for news, organizing events, hosting these crypto drinks we do in Ecuador. Yeah, it's a full-time job.
Cool. So as soon as you've already mentioned that you are based in South America, so what are and first of all, are there any peculiarities of building crypto communities in South America?
Yes. So that's a very nice question. Like people from Latin America, I think, but I can speak widely, right? Or generally because I lived in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Buenos Aires, now I'm in Ecuador. They like more structured events rather than spontaneous or relaxed or chill events. It's like if, that's what I'm thinking, right? It's my supposition. I think I'm not going to the crypto drinks because there's not an important thing that I learned. Rather than thinking, I'll go to these crypto drinks so I can get a beer and just talk about any subject without any structure. At least that's how I'd like to see it, right? I think it's more. I mentioned it to Ana. She said maybe it's from an anthropological view, right? So at least in Ecuador, they like to have a program with a schedule, and they say, okay, who are the speaker? What's the program, and what are they going to talk about it? So I've seen, as I belong to the other OffChain Global communities, in the global chat, they actually like, hey guys, who want to go for a beer tonight? Let's talk about Luna going to zero. Let's talk about this new NFT collection like Moonbirds or Bored Ape. So they like more spontaneous meetups, and the difference as we have in Ecuador, at least. But I suppose it's just a matter of culture and an interest. Maybe when Web3 has been more introduced or on board into the local community here, in this case, Quito, Ecuador, Guayaquil, then maybe more people would like to go just hang out and have a free talk about it, free chat.
And if we talk about South America in general, what are the main centers of the crypto communities?
That's another good question. I don't think I have a solid answer to it. I mean, I know Argentina takes the lead, like definitely. I'm not going to be able to give you like specific community names, but when I was there, we had virtual events since it wasn't COVID. Every week, like every Tuesday, every Wednesday, maybe on the weekends. I know Colombia is also as strong on sense regarding the crypto, though not more of a Web3 or NFT space, but more focused on the crypto space. Brazil is also there. I've seen some of publications and all that stuff. Of course, due to the language barrier, is not something I could give you further information. But Argentina in Latin America, like not only on the South, like not only on South America, but in Latin America overall, I would say Mexico is also building a super hype within the Latino community. And I have noted, just give me 1 second. There you go. There are some projects I would like to mention because they're actually rocking it as a community and within the NFT collection, and also as a community, right? But within the Web3 space. So the first one, I don't know if you guys know her. Her name is Laura. Her Twitter handle is the Miami Ape. She's actually an ape holder. She lives in Miami, and she focused 100% in the Latino community, which is pretty amazing because she's the bridge between a community with the apes and other English speakers that is already established, and she's kind of introducing everybody for the Latino. So that's amazing. There's also a friend called Yasan. His Twitter handle is NFT DeFi Land. He's just focused on NFTs and DeFi, right? He's a Mexican guy, super cool, always willing to help new projects. And he was actually the one who organized, along with his friend Roxy. You guys know Thalia. She's like a famous singer in Mexico, actually in Latin America. So Thalia kind of got into the NFT spaces, and they're hosted like for the full week, just 5 Twitter NFT spaces, 5 Twitter spaces regarding the NFT. So there was a lot of baby boomers coming thanks to that, right? Regarding other Web3 the Web3, we have Latino Society, a friend of mine, which is Danny Sanchez, el Profesor, that's his nickname. Then we have the Cholos crew, which is an NFT collection in Mexico. They got a big community and they got a strong sense of community in their Discord. We have Hola Metaverso, which they just did an event in the US, which are solid rock. We have Learner.io, which they're introducing to developers. So we have like a range, a huge range of how and where people are like introducing. We have Crypto Luchas, which they're little pixelated luchadores from Mexico. You know, that's like an icon. But they actually introduced the staking to the community. But instead of staking crypto or coins, you stake tacos. So when they did this, it's one of the best way to approach like baby boomers. And in Ecuador, I know also a couple of communities. There's a few that are really focused on Web3 crypto. So I would definitely say that OffChain is the strongest one. Sorry. I would say then comes Crypto Ecuador, which is a Telegram group managed by Diego, a friend of mine, but they send a lot of signals, right, about crypto. We're just talking about crypto. We have Crypto Club, which is actually from Ernesto. He has a community on LinkedIn where it's a little bit more like B2B. We also have Working Up, which is a co-working that they're, by the way, they have a space tonight. Tonight regarding the Ethereum future. So if there's people from Ecuador hearing to me or listening in Quito, would be cool. Join. There's also Daniela Peralvo from Impacto, a co-working who has just partnership with CoinDesk in order to launch this Web3 hackathon. We have Mario Artos. He's doing an amazing job in Guayaquil because he's gathering artists, like one-on-one artists, and he's introducing them to the NFT space. So there's a mix of huge communities. I could take longer, but that would kind of be wrap up all of the big communities we have in there.
Thank you, Rommel. So let's look closer at OffChain Global and your particular activity in that as a co-founder of the Ecuador chapter. So with OffChain Global in Ecuador opening recently, so first of all, please tell us, describe, present OffChain Global. And the second question would be, how would you describe the growth of the community and overall local interest towards crypto and NFT by means of OffChain Global? So what's the role of OffChain Global in rising the interest towards NFT in particular?
Yep. So OffChain Global is, as the name says, an off-chain community in global, right? In the whole world. So they create small chapters. What they gather is crypto, blockchain, NFTs enthusiasts, and they have a group. They have a Discord, they have a Telegram groups where they exchange opinions, ideas, project. One of the things I love about the global is all of the profiles you have like 3D artists, you have 2D artists, you have investors, you have people that has already developed their own project in China, in London, and then in the US. So it's a great community. But I will have to say that it's not that much for new people. I mean, the conversations we have in OffChain Ecuador and OffChain Global, they're actually for people that are already involved, right, within the blockchain. You either be a crypto investor or a trader or an NFT artist, or you already launched your collection. So topics are already deep, and they are launched. They're not just some ideas. Regarding the Ecuador, I co-founded it with Mauricio at the end of last year, and growth has been amazing. I mean, in data, we grew like 100 to, I think we're currently 200, or that would be a 2x in just a couple of weeks. When we organized the first structure, like physical event, which I mentioned they love more programs, speakers, and all that stuff, we received 155 like registrations through the website, and then a total of 147 people assisted. For those that are familiar with organizing events, you normally expect to receive like 50 to 60%. So here we received like 95%. So that was a super goal. We were actually very happy. Then we have a lot of engagement from different profiles in the group, as I mentioned. So one of the good thing about this is that you don't have to actually start onboarding everyone that from scratch that joins, at least in Ecuador and also in the global community, right? You can talk about technical or event content. So regarding the difference about the Ecuador chapter and the global is, as I mentioned before, Ecuador likes more organized events. That's why we're just starting to plan the new event in Guayaquil that's going to be this month, rather than chilling with a beer or a pizza or a burger event. Yep.
And when was it founded? Like the chapter in Ecuador?
Chapter was founded last year.
Oh, so it's actually pretty new. It's
Yep,
only
yep.
a
Pretty
year
new.
long.
Yep.
Yeah. And so
We have
overall,
about 7
how
months or 6
is
months.
the community developed? Like,
Sorry.
what numbers are we talking about?
My bad. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Of course. How quickly the community is actually developing right now?
I would say they're going through a fast, rapid pace. Like people are joining from the womb, for word of mouth. Like, listen, I'm in a community. They're talking about NFTs and they're talking about new projects, and they already launched their project. So for every attempt, we try to bring people through LinkedIn and through Twitter, because we it's not that we invite everybody, not because we are excluding people, but there are a lot of scams around the world regarding this. Even in the local in the global community where we are around, I don't know, 1,000 people. Sometimes you receive messages like, "Hey, Rommel, is everything okay? Listen, it's me, Carlos. Can you send me a couple of bitcoins because I lost my wallet?" I say, dude, come on. I don't even know a Carlos in the global group, right? So what happens in Latin America is the crypto scam. So we are very careful of who we invite, not because we want to exclude, but because we want to keep the community clean. But yeah, we're growing at a fast pace.
And if you're talking that you kind of checking who are you adding and who are you inviting, what are the criteria you're following in general? Like, what do you look at?
Yeah, but it's not like we have a screening call or something like that. But when we see them on LinkedIn, I mean, you can know more or less their professional profile, right? So if you see a tweet or maybe a comment, because there's a lot of people who think, okay, I'm joining the community, let me just send the first message like, hey guys, I'm selling this. If you want crypto, so just call me in. I'm in a group. So every time they do this, we just block them. We remove them of the group. And it's not that we have a criteria again, but we just see their profile. So if this guy is offering OneCoin, what was it? Yeah, or like Bitcoin Vault, or all of these projects that are being scammed, we just raise that chance for him to get into the group.
Cool. But for the newcomers in the market, I mean, for those who want to do their, let's say, the first steps as crypto artists, can they apply to your community, or they should better apply to your promotion company?
They can, of course. They can join the group, and as soon as there's a lot of people who say, "I'm sorry, what do you mean with TA, with the technical analysis?" So we kind of avoid them. What do you mean with the ATH, all-time high, or all of those technical aspects? Or what do you mean with Solana is a proof of history or proof of work or proof of stake? So we do talk about those. We kind of onboard the people. We don't have a community for beginners. That would be a good subject, kind of, I don't know if to create, but if we kind of migrate to Discord, that would be better, because we could set channels so everybody could join the same community, but you can just speak on the channels until you are ready to talk about technical aspects. But yeah, every time we get an onboarding call or request, I just go on a one-on-one call with them. What do you need to know? What would you like to focus? And all of that stuff.
I believe that Fuel Arts could be the first, let's say, the first funnel for your community, because now we have pre-acceleration courses and 35 students who have enrolled to the course. So they are doing their first or second or third steps in the world of NFT and crypto. So let's say in 2 weeks, we'll be happy to recommend you at least 30 more names who are willing to make the crypto world better by means of decentralization and transborderness. So we're just making an injection during our course of those two values to the crypto society: transborderness and decentralization. And one more question, if I may. So as far as I understand, OffChain Global has already occupied, let's say, at least most of the countries of the world. So they have their own representative offices and local communities. But let's say, if not an artist, if not a crypto enthusiast, but a person who would like to create his own, let's say, crypto community using the off-chain brand. So let's say like buying a franchise. So what's the guideline for him? Or better say, is there some kind of a guideline for him or her?
Yeah, it is. Rescuing some of your answer. Yeah, every time we kind of get all of these artists that want to be introduced, I kind of redirect them direct to Anna. That's my first point of contact, right? Or people that is interested on how to enter by being an artist. And regarding the global community, yeah, there's a lot of chapters. You can find them all on global offchain social. There is not actually like a structure where you said, okay, listen, you have to accomplish this in order to open the chapter. We're very open. You can reach Jonathan. He will give you a hand. He say, hey, do you have like a community that has already lived, and maybe you call it, I don't know, crypto community, when you want to switch it to the off chain, or you want to start from zero. Then we have a team that they help you like contacting people, looking through hashtags like blockchain, crypto, NFTs through LinkedIn, and that's how one of the ways you kind of could get recruited to. It's not recruited, but you can get invited to join the global off-chain and the off-chain chapter that you guys are willing to use. So right now, I know they're looking for a community builder in Austin and in Houston. So if you guys have any people out there that would be interested to open this global off-chain chapter, would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. Noted.
Good.
I also wanted to ask you like a general question. With your experience in Web3, like what is your perspective on the future of the NFT market? Where do you see and how do you see it in like the next 1-2 years? We're not even talking about 5 and 10 because that's just way too far.
A general but very important question which bothers all of us.
Yeah. It is. There's a lot of people who say that 90% of the projects on Web3 and 99% of the projects on NFT would actually die, right? I do agree that NFTs without utilities are going to have a hard time after the flipping and the speculation has passed, which is the timing or the stage we are right now. Because right now you associate NFTs with just JPEG, an image or a photo. So it could also be a text, a video, a sound, or a full music track on, right? So this actually gives no limits on what and how an NFT can be used. Like if you launch your music as an NFT and you make people hold them, then you can start giving royalties to them by just holding a piece of that NFT, which would be a piece of a song. So that's going to be a disruptive. I would say that the NFT marketplace, like the speculative side, will significantly drop, and we will reach to the maturity once we understand the power of the technology and not the JPEG. I think we are a couple of years, maybe 2 years from it. But regarding the future, yeah, NFTs will serve as a proof of something. It will be the proof of attendance that we've already seen that with the POAP. It will be the proof of belonging to a community, which can also work as your identifier to access exclusive content. So if you want to join the off-chain community, you will just go to offchain.social/mint. You will mint your membership, and that will give you access to the community. It would also be a proof of as you completed or achieved something like your high school, your MBA, your college. That's how I actually see the future of this technology. And hopefully someday, instead of receiving tons of papers, you would just receive an airdrop with your house ownership or with your university title or your MBA title?
Rommel, this time I'm going to ask you a general question. So let's say 5 years ago, approximately 5 years ago, we started hearing, okay, crypto is the future. 4 years ago, it was like blockchain is the future, especially after regulations which prevented crypto community to, let's say, use crypto freely. So it was like pure blockchain. Okay, then 3 years ago, it was like digital assets are the future. 2 years ago, NFT is the future. Then 1 year ago, it was metaverse is the future. Now we hear from any spot, Web3 is the future. So what is Web3? A very general but a specific question. I mean, and the second layer of this question would be like, is Web3? I mean, is Web3 something that combines all that terms like crypto, like blockchain, meta, and NFTs? I mean, I wouldn't mind if your answer will be like just for the beginners.
I'll try to do both. So, yeah, regarding the headlines is what we talked about, I think, a couple of days ago. China is buying Bitcoin for the first time the last 5 years, right? So what you're actually trying to do is to break down the economy or the technology. Why? Because it's blockchain. So every time you hear NFTs are the future or crypto is the future or metaverse is the future, you got to give a step backwards and think, these are just a way. They're just a tool. But the mother innovation is blockchain. That's where everybody kind of gets distracted. So yeah, let's buy crypto. Yeah, let's start with these CBDCs. Yes, let's start tokenizing industries or houses or all of this stuff. But the real boom in here is the blockchain technology that is actually decentralized. When we talk about Web3, it's just a concept that came because you call it Web 1, you call it Web 2, you call it marketing 3.4, marketing 4. I mean, that's just like the versions of it. And yes, Web3 actually gathers everything that we already know. The cool aspect or the difference about Web3, there's also there's kind of a smoke there because you actually don't eliminate the intermediaries. You reduce them. Intermediaries are always going to be there unless you are your own developer, your own artist, and your own company. But if you want to sell your art, you got to go to OpenSea. And OpenSea is going to take you 2.5% out of the first sales and after 1% for each secondary sales. So you say, but wait, you're telling me that we're building in blockchain because we are eliminating the intermediaries. So that's not the word we have to use. I actually like to say we are reducing the intermediaries. So the good thing about Web3 is that you own your content, right? You put it on your wallet, which you can receive crypto, and you can use multiple wallets because people right now, when you go to buy to e-commerce, you said, I'm afraid of using my credit card because maybe they're going to charge me for other stuff that I am not paying for. At least in Latin America, that's one of the biggest things. It's in top of mind. It's not secure yet. But here, your content is not hosted on GoDaddy.com. It's not hosted on Amazon Web Service. Your content is hosted among all of the blogs. So it's not that everybody's going to say, I didn't like what Rommel said, I'm just going to ban it. No, you can't do that. I don't like how Rommel speaks, so I'm just going to delete his tweet. No possible. So I own my content, and therefore, of course, the consequences. But it is decentralized, and if people wants to see it, wants to consume it, go ahead. If not, you would just leave it there. Does that answer kind of the question?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you personally believe that Twitter will be decentralized? One day.
It's been a hell of a year, right? I mean, Bitcoin all-time high, Bitcoin dropped to lowers. Twitter banned a couple of people, but they allow some political messages. Elon says he wants to buy it, then he buys it. That's not the transaction. I think the transaction has not been completed yet. What can I say? If they, at least if they drop the algorithm code to GitHub, or if they make it public, that would be a big step. I can assure you, if they're going to be decentralized and if they're going to allow me to public, no, I don't want to be an example of this, but there's a lot of sensitive content like pornography, child pornography, abuse. Is that decentralized? Can we be able at least to report it and to block that content? It's decentralization. It's I think it's a utopia. I mean, or at least the democracy of the internet is in utopia. There will always someone who's going to be harmful to another person, and that shouldn't be allowed.
So does it mean that the best and the only pure decentralization could be achieved only with the help of the moderation by a community?
Indeed, definitely. That's another thing of the DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organization. You say that's cool because you can vote. Yes, but go one step backward. Who creates the vote? I mean, what are you voting? Who got the idea that you guys are voting? So if you say, no, it's okay, it doesn't matter. But it does matter. It is not really decentralized. You got to have at least a directive, or the people that they're looking to accomplish one thing. Once that has been accomplished, then you can make it decentralized. But at the beginning, you guys are going to say, no, Sonia, I love blue. Yeah, but Dennis, I love green. Okay, let's make it pink. No, I don't like pink. So if you can get along with 15 friends into ordering one pizza, just imagine about a country future, because they say the DAO is going to be the future of the country. I do believe so, but not as it is expected right now. Same goes with the metaverse. The metaverse is just a virtual reality. I mean, we've been using Oculus since the last 10 years, 15 years ago. Why has it suddenly become the boom or the next crypto or the next something? It's because we just repeated. Yeah, the metaverse, you can join the metaverse. There's no metaverse, at least not now. You just connect to a computer where someone draw a room or a space, and you just walk with your Oculus. That has existed like for the last 10 years. We can really talk about a real metaverse when we've integrated, when we can have interoperability, when I can actually give my wallet digitally to Sonia. And she said, okay, Rommel, your physical phone is in Ecuador, but I got all of your information through the metaverse. Thank you very much. That would actually, and we have the cloud for that, right? But that's actually that we could call the metaverse.
Thank you. We have several questions from the audience. First of all, we have a proposal to include an ayahuasca session as part of the NFT Legends benefits.
It is. Let me just, I don't know if you guys can, I don't have the turtle at the hand, but we have it as an asset, and there are just 15 assets. There are just 15 turtles that are going to have the ayahuasca asset, and those 15 turtles, every time they visit Ecuador, they're going to have this spiritual experience in Santo Domingo de los Áchilas.
Sounds great. We have another comment from David Ramirez. Hope I pronounced it correctly. Can we show this one? Great research and efforts that give a very practical advice for building communities around Web3.
Thank you. David is a vivid person on the off-chain community, and he's a developer that every time there's something around, he said, okay, but we can build this. So those kind of people are amazing, because you said, okay, but how would I change the way I pay the train? I have an idea. Let me just build an example so you can try it and learn. So he's an amazing dude who has always willing to help in the community. Thank you, David.
A true Web3 enthusiast, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Another comment says most of the utility NFT are the ones that will last. Yeah, we do agree with it.
Same. We have, my bad. May I? Yep.
Sure.
Like regarding the NFTs, we have multiple standards, right? Like the ERC 721, 155, and they will all be useful for a different mechanism. But there's a new one, the one I mentioned to you is called soulbound, which is actually, we could translate it as an NTT, which is a non-transferable token, meaning that your college diploma could have this soulbound standard. But if you lose it, that's where everybody's thinking, how are we going to do it? Would I have to pay again for the fee I paid to have my title? Is it true that I actually lost it, or I'm just passing it to another person so he can take advantage of my MBA or stuff like that? So there's a big discussion right now about it. But yeah, NFT, at least from my experience, are going to be the go-to for onboarding and for experts on the Web3.
So from what I've understood, the next, let's say, word to learn and to learn by heart after metaverse, after NFT, after Web3 will be soulbound. So please, everyone, pay attention and learn that by heart.
Soulbound, but it's a cool name,
Soulbound.
right? I mean, it's not like NFT ERC 721A. It's like easier to say soulbound. That's cool.
and it has soul as part of the name, which is
a
means
blockchain.
that in any Web3 community, or let's say in any decentralized digital world, we shouldn't forget about our soul. Xenia is asking, Rommel, NFT communities in Latin America are more friendly, close in communication with what other countries' communities? Let's say US, China, Europe, India.
That's a good question, Xenia. But I think the first answer to me is going to be yes. But I would think that it's because of our flow. You know, we are from the Caribbean. We like to say, hey, Xenia, sis, how's it going? Do you need any help? Is there something I can do for you? You want to go grab a couple of beer? Or we have like that approach in the community. While, like, for example, I lived in France for a couple of years. And it was kind of weird. You know, it's not that you can go, hey, can you tell me where do I take the train? So, no. And to continue. Because it is kind of hard to belong to a community when you actually don't have the willingness to onboard people, to talk to people. Although in the global off-chain, the OffChain Global chat, like, people are very open to help. I can help you with this. I have a friend that codes. I have a friend that designed. So I could say the global would be the exception. But yes, I would say definitely people from Latin America, because of our flow, I would say we're more friendly than other countries. Yes.
That sounds nice indeed. And also, if we're talking about communities, for example, I do have an NFT project. How do you find the right company that's going to help me to build the community around my project?
My bad, you mentioned Algorand? The Algorand? Yeah. It's actually it depends a lot on what you want to build. Ethereum is the most known blockchain to build dApps over it. So do you want to build over a network that you don't have to explain a lot of people what it is? Or you want to build over Algorand, which I love it, by the way. But you still have to do small onboarding because it is easier for you to buy Ether than buy Algo. So that's actually how you want your product to be scalable. And do you mind like having high gas fees on the Ethereum network? There's something amazing about Algorand is that they have the ISO 2022, I think, which it goes for the bank transactions, and they're actually building 16 out of the 40-something CBDs project that they're actually vote and approve, right? So if you want to build on Algorand or other Solanas, a Phantom, Avalanche blockchains, you would just have to think who your target is, and if you don't mind onboarding a little bit more to all of those users.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So any other questions, guys?
I think we just have lots of comments about how useful was the webinar and how great it was.
Cool. That's amazing, guys. Thank you for everyone that posted your comment and joined us. Yep.
Thank you, Rommel. Again, I just want to summarize that all what is said. When you launch I'm addressing the startups now mostly. So what I've learned from today's session is actually there are two key findings for me personally. So the first one is if you want to build a real community, so it would require you hard work and everyday work. And let's say you are gonna build it, so you should build it in order to be successful, not buy it, as many companies propose. Okay, we'll sell you the community, or we'll sell you the friendship or good attitude of crypto people, because even the community, especially the purchased one, doesn't guarantee you the sales. The first finding. The second finding, it corresponds with what we've experienced and what we're experiencing now with Fuel Arts, and quite a lot of startups are sending us their pitch decks for reviewing, for like as an introduction. And they want to impress either us or their future investors with very loud names like Meta Startup or Web3, So once being asked, so guys, what is Web3? They say, oh, it's the future. Okay, but what is Web1? What was Web2? It's like economics 4.0. A lot of startups, fintech startups love to put that on, to highlight that phrase even on the first page of their pitch deck, like economics 4.0. Okay, guys, what was economics 1.0, and what is economics in general? So, dear startups, please, you can play with the terms only after you learn by heart what does it mean, and when you learn the history of how the world, how the start, or how the economics, how our, let's say, the financial ecosystem, tech ecosystem has come up to Web3. So in order to this, you have to know what was Web1 and Web2. So learn the history. It's the main, I would say, it's the main driver to remain in the history, to know history.
Indeed. Yep.
So yeah, thank you, Rommel, for an amazing discussion.
And thank you guys. Thank you guys for the invitation.
Thank you for letting us enter your off-chain society. It's very exciting to see what's going on there, and as well as to contribute there.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for the opportunity, like giving us space to Latin America regarding cryptos, communities, NFTs, and all that. Was like, I was hyped when Anna invited me. So thank you, Sonia, again. I'm a big fan of you guys. I've seen all of your webinars, and I will keep watching them. And that's the way. Just gotta build. If we get to 1 people, we achieve our goal. If we get to 50, then that's amazing. But we gotta keep building.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and see you in a week. We'll have a guest from brick and mortar physical art market. One of the strategists of the art market will disclose his name in a while. So, Rommel,
nice.
You're also welcome.
Definitely. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.